Hello and welcome to another episode of SPFL Extra. Coming up on this week's show, we are going to preview the League Cup final presented by Utilita, and then as always we'll handpick some of the best comments from last week and see who's won a copy of Football Manager. On this week's show, we are going to preview the big match that everybody's talking about, the biggest match between now and the end of the season, and that of course is the Scottish League Cup final between Hibernian and Ross County. We'll talk about Hibernian first, and I suppose it's all about how they're going to line up their midfield.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Alan Stubbs, especially in the bigger games, you've seen how his team has performed against Premiership teams, especially this season, has been incredible. I think he'll go 4-4-2 with the diamond in the middle. You'll see Marvin Bartley in there. Obviously John McGinn, Liam Henderson, these guys in there as well. So I think that's how he's going to line up. Then of course Hibernian's competitors on the day, Ross County. Again, we're kind of looking at how they're going to line up through the midfield. The semi-final, how they lined up there, kind of differs from their league starting lineup and stuff like that. How do you think they'll go for that?
Yeah, for a long time they were 4-4-2. They stuck rigidly to that with two wingers, like you say, for the semi-final, and for some of the bigger matches they've dropped a striker and put an extra midfielder in there. It'll be interesting to see whether they pay Hibs the same amount of respect as they have the bigger teams this season. It's difficult to guess at the moment. I probably think that they will go with the extra midfield in there and maybe start with Schalke up front on his own, like they did for the semi-final, although play a winger on the right rather than Murdoch they did in that game. Now we're going to look at some of the key battles going into Sunday's match, and the first of those surrounds Jason Cummins and Andrew Davis. Hibernian's top scorer suspended for the last match. He'll likely come back in up against Ross County's captain.
Yeah, I think as long as Andrew Davis keeps Jason Cummins onto his right foot, I think it should be fine. History dictates he scores on his left, but he's such a wily striker. He likes to get in and about. He likes the physical side of the game now as well, but that again, that's somewhere where Andrew Davis kind of excels in his play as well. It's going to be a really interesting battle, just basically seeing how they try and feel each other out over the course of the game. And at the other end of the pitch, obviously Ross County's attack, Hibernian's defence. We have Alex Schalke, the star of the semi-final for Ross County, against Darren McGregor, one of the stars of Hibs' season.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be a really interesting one as well. Darren McGregor's really come onto a game at Hibs. It was a little bit surprising that Rangers let him go, actually, given his performances he's put in this season. And Schalke was the absolute star in the semi-final for Ross County. So it'll be interesting to see. It's going to be a little bit of pace up against the strength of McGregor, so it'll be really, really interesting to see how that one goes. And one of the main men for Hibernian this season has been John McGinn. He's been absolutely fantastic. Obviously a lot of this is going to be dependent on where he plays exactly and how Ross County's set up, but it could come down to him versus Jackson Irvine, given that McGinn plays in a slightly narrow position on the left.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Jackson Irvine, especially with his industry and his running, he might be put up against, he is Hibs star man, Super John McGinn. I think that's who
he's better than Zidane.
Apparently so. That's who they'll put him up against. McGinn is such a hard-working but such a classy player as well. I think Jackson Irvine, if he can nullify that, then that would be huge for Ross County in their game plan as well.
Finally, Michael Gardyne has been a key player over 3 spells for Ross County, and obviously it's going to be dependent on which wing he starts on, but whichever fullback he comes up against is going to be a decent battle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's hugely important in that battle is who starts on the front foot. If Hibs start on the front foot, Michael Gardyne's going to be doing a lot of tracking back regardless of fullback. Lewis Stevenson, David Gray, both like getting up the pitch. On the other hand, he's an absolute nightmare to deal with if he's running at you. If Ross County start fast, they start attacking, then we'll see, maybe the better defensive capabilities of Lewis Stevenson coming out, or David Gray. But yeah, I think that all depends on which team starts quicker, but it's going to be a great battle either way.
So that's what we think the key battles are going to be. Now we're going to do the impossible task of predicting the score. This is completely a toss of a coin, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't even want to predict it, to be honest with you. Honestly, I mean, it's two good teams on their day, two teams who did really well in the semi-finals as well. It's anyone's game.
But tell me, what do you think the score is going to be?
I think the final score is going to be 2-1 to Hibernian on Sunday.
Well, I'm in the Ross County end, so I'm going to be cheering them on, and therefore I'm going to predict 2-0 to Ross County. That's our preview of this Sunday's Scottish League Cup final presented by Utilita. For your chance to win a copy of this, use the comment section below, tell us what you think the score is going to be, and predict the man of the match, and the first person to guess correctly will win a copy of this. And now it's time for your comments, and we're going to pick the best one and see who's won the copy of Football Manager. First of all, we're going to give an honourable mention to Irish Shamrock FC, Oh My Rocker, and an RF Borthwick.
No comment.
Who mentioned the Ozturk goal against Hibs last season.
I can't believe you missed it out. It's ludicrous.
Most popular suggestion in the comments section, and this group is going to be the first runner-up, and that was Nathan Howie, Salvage Gaming, Ethan Hampton, he's commented again, DMRJ 2006, Nathan TV, Aiden Gaming X, Matty Milne, and May Kelly. There was probably more of them. But they all went for Nakamura's fantastic title-winning free kick at Rugby Park.
And the second runner-up we have here is a goal that I remember very well as well. Maurice Edu's last-minute strike against Celtic back in 2010.
Gave them the impetus in the title race.
Exactly, stretched the lead out a wee bit further than what they already had it. That was mentioned by 1872, Rangers FC 1972, Gaming Bros, Magic Man Greg, and FIFA Uploads.
Now it's time for the winner, or winners in this case, who both mentioned Paul Quinn's goal versus Celtic earlier in the season, which, as one commenter mentioned, has put them in the title race that they're currently in, and they were Harry Morrison and Dylan Burnett. Well done, guys, you both won a copy of this. So that's it for this week's edition of SPFL Extra.
This is a show by the fans for the fans.
Remember, you can like us on Facebook, or you can subscribe to us on this channel.
Or you can follow us on Twitter at SPFL.
Remember, and use the comment section below, tell us what you think the score is going to be in this Sunday's Cup final, predict the man of the match, and the winner will win a copy of Football Manager. We'll see you next week.